Me and Puff working this close. He goes to get his own company. He gets his girl. Of course, he wants her to be a version of me. That's understandable. That's business. And then every chick after that was like,
had a piece.
The longer I lived, the more I learned. And I learned that, back in the days, I was that person.
Has anyone seen Diddy lately? Tell him the FBI is looking for him and tell Mary J. Blige they might come calling soon. Okay, just kidding, but let's be for real. This is no funny matter, y'all.
We're told this is part of a federal investigation into human trafficking led out of the Southern District of New York. Once again, you're looking at live pictures from the home of Sean Combs, also known as Diddy. HSI is on the scene.
Diddy's homes have been raided by law enforcement, and if we've learned anything from the Epstein cases, that just means this is the beginning of the end, because for the FBI to bring their suits to your house, then they probably have some big facts and they're just looking for evidence. Did he do it? Did he do it? Let's find out.
Diddy had that pace and he had that look in his face that he knows something may be wrong or they may have something on him. Because they took things out of there. We may not have seen what they took, but they had bags and boxes of stuff that they took out of there. So he knows, he's getting a play-by-play of what's going on.
The bags and bags of stuff Gene is talking about are the items retrieved by the FBI during their raid of Sean Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, or Diddy's homes in Miami and Los Angeles. On Monday, 25th of March 2024, the internet was set off as pictures and videos of multiple ongoing raids at Diddy's homes hit the timelines.
We're told this is part of a federal investigation into human trafficking led out of the Southern District of New York. Once again, you're looking at live pictures from the home of Sean Combs, also known as Diddy. HSI is on the scene right now.
And fans immediately reacted. I really didn't have Diddy possibly being on the run from the feds in the cards for this week. This is crazy. Well, crazy is one way to put it. According to multiple reports, Homeland Security agents carried out simultaneous searches of 2 Holmby Hills and Miami mansions owned by Diddy as part of a federal inquiry, basically FBI-related investigation, into certain allegations involving the hip-hop and business mogul. No shade to TMZ, but this wasn't an anonymous tip or a Dumois blind item or anything like the other headlines we've seen about Diddy in the past year. This was the FBI, and that's how you know that some major stuff was about to go down.
Because they took things out of there. We may not have seen what they took, but they had bags and boxes of stuff that they took out of there. So he knows, he's getting a play-by-play of what's going on.
The 54-year-old had debuted his last album, the Love album, off the grid just last year at one of the mansions. But before the album could even start the comeback wave that Diddy wanted, he was forced to go off the grid briefly as the mansion was flooded with Homeland Security investigations agents who came with a search warrant and left with evidence loaded up in multiple bags. 2 of Diddy's sons, King and Justin, were also restrained during the raid. And now, more than ever, Diddy's reputation is taking a massive hit. Far from the lawsuits and accusations that have consistently kept his name in the tabloids for over a year now, an investigation by the federal department isn't something that the timeline can just talk about for a day or two, then keep moving on. If anything, we can expect a documentary about this whole situation to be released within the next 1 to 5 years, depending on what Homeland finds. Now, while the search was ongoing, Diddy was not at either of the mansions during the raids. Almost immediately, one of his lawyers, Aaron Dyer, slammed Homeland over how the situation was handled, saying a day after the raids, "Yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. There is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. Mr. Combs was never detained but spoke to and cooperated with authorities. Despite media speculation, neither Mr. Combs nor any of his family members have been arrested, nor has their ability to travel been restricted in any way." But we all saw that Justin and King were restrained with cable ties for a good part of the raids, so while they may not have been arrested, it wasn't like they were walking about the house whistling while the raid was ongoing. Although Diddy's kids were released later, they were also spotted hurriedly going into the house to pack some things before leaving. And if that doesn't looky shady, then what does? Fans have also not taken it lightly with Diddy since the whole raid saga started. As one person said, Diddy lived comfortably for decades being shady and getting away with it. It's about damn time karma came knocking on his door. But to let your kids go down for you is some sick cess it. And someone else wrote, remember when Kanye West said that Diddy was basically working for the feds, just like Epstein? Kanye was saying Diddy's gig was all about gathering dirt on celebs and rich folks into some shady stuff, like messing with kids or being into other messed up stuff. Well, hold up, that's actually an interesting bit to remember. Now, for those who didn't know, when it comes to his outrage for Diddy, Kanye doesn't mince words or try to be shady. He addresses him head on, and that's major op energy, to be very honest. During Kanye's infamous 2022 rant phase, Diddy also caught some strays. Shortly after Kanye announced that he would be sharing, selling, and support the WLM, White Lives Matter, Diddy supposedly reached out to him to try and get him under control. Kanye posted screenshots of the iMessage exchange between him and Puff, making it crystal clear that he felt Diddy was purposely trying to put a wedge between his earnings and deals. Kanye was also fully convinced that Diddy was doing all of it because the Jewish leaders had sent the Bad Boy Records rapper to silence Kanye's messages. When Diddy attempted to meet up in person, Kanye actually washed him and called him a federal agent before telling him he accepts any future apology Diddy has whenever he comes to his senses and supports WLM. Now, the texts are super weird, but what's even weirder is the way that Diddy was adamant about meeting face to face, and it just seems too similar to what Kanye was saying in 2022 about handlers in Hollywood.
They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
Anyway, back to the story behind the raids. While there is a long list of allegations that Diddy could probably be under investigation for, this particular raid is reportedly authorized by a search warrant out of New York's Southern District as part of an ongoing investigation into certain allegations. Now, we all know that Diddy has been in the trenches of social media gossip for the past couple of months, but if you're wondering what Mary J. Blige has to do with any of these, then you're in for quite a ride, because this tea is bigger than a sippy cup.
Are you kidding me? Are we in 1994 right now? Are you seriously talking about I punched the interviewer in the face and all of this blah, 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 what?
But before we dive into Mary J's past and how her relationship with Diddy might be unfolding in this case, let's actually look at why Diddy is on the FBI's radar. And if you didn't know what allegations are stacked up against Diddy, well, grab a seat because it's a pretty long list. Diddy's former partner and R&B singer, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, filed a lawsuit against him back in November, and she accused him of harassing and SAing her while they were still dating in 2018. Her lawsuit claimed that Diddy had brought the singer into his ostentatious, fast-paced, and drug-fueled lifestyle not long after she met him and signed her to his label in 2005 when she was just 19 and he was 37. Cassie, in her statement, said that the pattern began as soon as their relationship started, and that as she was trying to end it in 2018, he forced himself into her Los Angeles home and forcefully had his way with her. However, the lawsuit didn't last for very long, as it was settled a day after she filed it for an undisclosed amount of money. But it didn't just end with Cassie. In the most recent lawsuit against Diddy, producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones alleged he was subjected to unwanted advances by associates of Diddy at his direction, and that he was forced to engage in relations with the S-workers Diddy had hired. The producer, who worked for Diddy between September 2022 and November 2023, claimed the rapper harassed, drugged, and threatened him for more than a year. Via his lawsuit, rapper Lil Rod also claimed to have video and audio evidence of Diddy where the mogul, his staff, and others are captured engaging in serious illegal activity. Lil Rod also mentioned that Diddy's party guests were label executives, access to celebrities and dignitaries, including the British royal Prince Harry. But Diddy's lawyers denied this lawsuit vehemently. One of his attorneys actually told the Los Angeles Times that the lawsuit contains reckless name-dropping about events that are pure fiction and simply did not occur. Still, the PR nightmare wasn't over. In November 2023, Joey Dickerson-Neal filed a lawsuit alleging that Diddy had drugged her, assaulted her, and secretly recorded the assault while she was a college student in 1991. She claimed that he pushed her to go to dinner with him, and she agreed reluctantly. However, later on, after the dinner, Joey realizes that she was drugged, resulting in her being in a physical state where she could not independently stand or walk. The suit also claims he recorded the assault and showed it to other people. She later filed police reports in New York and New Jersey, spoke to prosecutors, and tried to get to the bottom of it, but she was told by colleagues they were terrified that Combs would retaliate against them and that they would lose future business and music opportunities if they made a statement in support of her, NBC News reported. Since November, though, 3 more women have come forward with lawsuits in the Southern District of New York alleging that they were assaulted by Diddy. 2 of the women said they were teenagers at the time of the alleged assaults. One person who said he frequents the Los Angeles neighborhood where the search happened was legit shocked at the news while speaking to NBC. Ryan Mendelsohn, 20, who used to live in the the area and still regularly visits a nearby friend, told reporters for NBC that he would see parties at the home and women outside. Other homes had parties too, but that home had people there and women outside until 6 a.m., which was not usual, he said. I drive by a lot and I see that. A lot of girls, maybe 5 or 6 girls outside, some leaving, some not, some going in, adding he also saw black Chevy Suburban SUVs there. I never thought anything of it, said Mendelsohn, who said he did not know Combs lived there until Monday's news coverage. But now it's crazy. Despite this eyewitness statement and multiple detailed lawsuits from alleged victims, Diddy, through his legal representatives, has strongly denied all the accusations against him and vowed to fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. In a statement released in December, following the lawsuit brought by Jane Doe, he called the claims sickening and said his accusers were looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear, I did not do any of the awful things being alleged, he said in a statement. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Diddy's lawyer, Sean Hawley, has also branded the events described in the lawsuit as pure fiction. We have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims are complete lies, he said. We will address these outlandish allegations in court and take all appropriate action against those who make them. Following the settlement with Ventura, Ben Brafman, another attorney for Diddy, told The Independent, "Just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Ms. Ventura the best. But that's only for one lawsuit and one allegation. And we still haven't scratched the surface on how Mary J. Blige's relationship with Diddy could be her possible ending. According to Jaguar Wright, Mary J. Blige was more than a music collaborator for Diddy. Allegedly, Mary was actually a sort of pimp for Diddy, as Jaguar claims that she was helping him get victims and then covering up when things go south, as they ever so often do with Diddy.
I guess it's an affidavit to the courts, of what she experienced. And it's like, it was the same thing Kim was going through.
A few people who were supposedly close to either Cassie or Diddy at the time these harrowing things actually happened have spoken up about it, especially Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal. Now, for someone who was always hanging out with the couple when they were splashed on the cutesy headlines, Mary J. Blige was interestingly quiet as the scathing headlines about Diddy's alleged evil acts were trending. According to Jaguar Wright, Diddy, Mary, and Cassie were always going out together and hanging out, and when the relationship ended and Diddy started dating Young Miami, Mary J. Blige simply switched gears. So it's clear that her loyalty was always with Diddy and none of the ladies, despite the headlines constantly talking about the suspected mistreatment that Diddy's partners were going through. So basically, Jaguar is standing on business and saying that Mary J. Blige is allegedly Diddy's female pimp or madam or his plug, however you want to put it. And the allegations against Mary are quite specific. Rumors claim that Mary supposedly assisted Diddy in grooming both the young women and men. And for those who don't know, this isn't the first time that Mary has been allegedly involved and name-dropped in a case of preying on younger artists. In fact, Danny Boy, a singer who is best known for singing the choruses of some Tupac songs like I Ain't Mad at Cha and What's Your Phone Dollars, was one of the young artists who got signed super early back in the day. He had originally signed for a 5-year run with Death Row Records at the age of 16, and of course, that put him on the radar of many other artists and stars, which included Mary J. Blige. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Well, Danny Boy has come out to talk about how Mary touched him when he was about 15 or 16 years old. The two artists have an 8-year age difference, so that means Mary was a full adult, reportedly backing it up and laying on the same couch in bed as a teenager who was just finding his footing. And the story is even worse to think about when you realize that Danny Boy came out as gay in 2016, which means that he was not only put in an uncomfortable and predatory situation by someone much, much older, he was also forced to act it up because he was likely in the closet or trying to figure out his sexuality at the time. And the only other type of person we can point at with such a sinister track record is none other than Mary's self-claimed brother, Diddy. But that's not even the end of the creepiness. For those who don't know, Mary J. Blige had it really rough growing up, and she was a victim of something horrible when she was young. And for someone who experienced that horror to supposedly make a move on a 15 or 16-year-old, it starts to look like a case of the victim becoming the perpetrator. According to Jaguar Wright, Mary wasn't just a perpetrator, but she was allegedly enabling Daddy at every turn. And the rumors are saying that Mary J. Blige wasn't just just sourcing the young people, but she was also participating. When Diddy and Cassie were together, Mary was always seen either in the background of their pictures or holding hands with one or both of them. And at first, fans just thought this was a friendship, but according to the rumors, that was not the case at all. From pictures of the three together, we can see that Cassie was almost always placed in their middle, almost like they were her handlers. And in other pictures, Cassie and Mary looked super cozy with Diddy in the background, like he's the third wheel. So while we don't know for sure what went down with Mary and Cassie, since Cassie didn't mention anything about the singer, we have all the alleged details of Cassie's relationship with Diddy. We also know that when Diddy started dating Young Miami, Mary was in the pictures too. They were always hanging out together and practically doing the same thing they were doing when Cassie was in the picture. So it sort of makes it easy to see how Young Miami could have had the same experience that Cassie did. After all, Jaguar Wright had to specifically call out and congratulate Young Miami when she left Diddy without a lot of drama.
Honeycomb.
Oh. Stamp it.
We gonna get you and your little dog too. And congratulations, Young Miami. Run as fast as Cassie did.
Maybe there's some truth to Jaguar's claims, and maybe the rumors about Mary J. Blige's sexuality have the tendency to be facts. But we can never know for sure. What we do know is that the investigations are still ongoing, and while it may look like Diddy is chilling and not bothered about it, it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out. And if the FBI is involved, well, just know that we'll be back with an update pretty soon. But what do you think? Will Mary J. Blige really spill if the FBI starts poking? Or is it that there's really nothing for her to spill on in the first place? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to check out this next exclusive tea on your favorite celebrity.